On tonight's HCW news, we will be covering the returns of Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and one Raw superstar in case you haven't seen it yet. Laurinaitis being quietly let go from WWE. Debunking the whole theory of Vince puppeteering behind the scenes. MJF having vanished from public view. And an injury to an AEW star suffered at Battle of the Belts. Stay tuned. Roll intro.
It's time for HCW News.
Hello everyone, welcome to the HCW News Show. My name is RGX, flanked as always by Frozzy and Rate Wrestle. How are you guys?
All good. Just looking forward to reviewing another week of news, although it's not been the best week for news. We could be sitting on a story, but yeah, not too bad.
So, full disclosure, as we are recording this, Twitter is down mere moments after Sean Ross Sapp said he's going to have to turn replies off on his next tweet. So, we could be adding an addendum onto this, but yeah, it is what it is. How are you anyway, Ray?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm finally moving next week, so that's going to be grand and the pain's all over. And we're looking forward to this wonderful week of nothing news.
There is some news. I wouldn't call it nothing.
Yeah.
I was kind of swithering whether to put this here or wait until we've done the reviews. But I figure it is kind of newsworthy enough to put it in here. So, obviously, with Triple H being back at the helm of creative in WWE, has allowed him to bring back some of his trusted stars that he used in NXT. Namely, from Friday Night SmackDown, Karrion Kross came back along with Scarlett. It was put straight into the main event scene. Now, word is that USA Network have pitched that Karrion Kross is added to the Drew McIntyre Roman Reigns match, and that the titles are split in that match. So first fall would be for the Universal, second fall would be for the WWE Championship, and it would go back to being brand exclusive titles again. I'm not against the idea of splitting the titles, far from it, but I don't know if that's the way to do it. Seems a bit confusing. We've only ever done it once, and that was in the triple threat at WrestleMania with Benoit, Angle and Jericho.
I enjoyed that match though, to be fair. So the match being as good as it was kind of made it acceptable. Are we going to get that good of a match from those three?
Yeah.
We're going to be biased either way, aren't we? Because we're going to be there, so it doesn't matter. Everything's going to be great. Everything.
That's it. When we do the review, we're going to need DP to give us a kind of how it came across on TV kind of review.
Videodome style for right. Box stars everywhere.
As I say, my theory is that, and no pun intended,
Theory
cashes in and Heyman tells him to recheck the contract. It's only for one of the titles.
Yeah.
So that's the way I think they'll do it, if that's what they do. But they absolutely need to either split the titles or Roman needs to work more dates. And I don't see the latter happening when he's only just agreed to a contract working less.
Yeah. I think whichever one's up for grabs first, Roman will win the first fall if they do it this way, and Drew will pin Kross for the second.
So,
and then Theory will cash in then. It'll be a clusterfuck.
Nuclear heat though.
Yeah.
Oh, it would be. With Karrion coming back, as I say, it's a big display of it being a Triple H project. He's obviously gave an interview at the time when Karrion Kross was released. Triple H's words were that he was dismayed at how he was used on the main roster. So this is him clearly trying to right some wrongs. He wasn't the only return that's happened over the last week. Now, I'll add a little spoiler tag here for Raw if you haven't watched it yet. Skip ahead to the time code that I'll pop at the bottom of the screen now. But the next one that has come back during the main event of Raw last night was Dexter Lewis. We'll talk more about how they did it on the review, but I thought it was actually pretty well done.
Yeah.
Obviously, Loomis hadn't worked that many dates since being released in April. He was on an NXT contract, so he could have signed somewhere if he wanted to, as early as the 30th of May. But other than a couple tapings for NWA, he's kept fairly quiet. So was obviously free to come back right away. But yeah, there's no word yet on the deals offered for any of the return talent so far. Normally that information comes out quite quickly, but that seems to have been kept under wraps. Unless WWE announce it themselves that they've signed a contract, but whether that happens anymore, who knows. But where do you see Dexter Lewis going now that he's not only back with WWE but on the main roster?
I think Triple H will use him quite well. And he's good, Dexter Lewis. I actually enjoyed him. I thought it was a travesty when he got cut. And I just think that around, like, sort of, they seem to be swaying him towards AJ, didn't they? So that could be a banger of a match. And if he's in the US title scene, then absolutely build him up a little bit. And who knows what you've got, really.
About yourself, right?
Yeah, we'll go into it a bit more on the reviews, or like the way he popped up, but I think he's going to be a bit more weirder than he was in NXT, which is quite hard to get past, especially because the way it was shown. I think the characters are going to be proper out there.
Yeah. No, I think it's a character that's got legs and will do well. Now, in other WWE news, Vince wasn't the only one that was named as part of the investigations. The other party of that was John Laurinaitis, who was the Vice President of Talent Relations. When Vince left the company, he was placed on gardening leave. In fact, it was a few weeks prior, pretty much as soon as the article came out. Word is, and it's been corroborated by both Fightful and PWI Insider, that Laurinaitis has been terminated and has left the company. I say left the company, he was terminated. There's been no kind of announcement made on that, as none of their normal all the best in their future endeavours. I don't think WWE are actively trying to keep it quiet, but given the investigation still ongoing, they maybe just didn't want to draw too much attention to it. So, what do you guys think about that?
I'm not surprised. As soon as he was named and Vince has obviously retired, it wasn't going to be long before he was not that far behind him. Next one, hopefully, is Kevin Dunn.
Fingers crossed. Obviously, he was named as part of that suit, particularly around the first non-disclosure agreement of the $1.5 million. So the fact he's been let go can only be a good thing. And Fightful has said that the general reaction backstage to the news is overwhelmingly positive, which says a lot in and of itself.
Yeah. Johnny not so ace.
Yeah, he's always been backwards, hasn't he? Like, every opinion that on him has been backwards. Like, the stories you hear from like Pritchard and stuff like that, they used to just pick wrestler. Well, they wouldn't be really pick wrestlers, so they used to pick women out of like lingerie catalogues to become with WWE wrestlers. And and he was like the essence that Athena brought up, that he was the essence of that. You need to all be wearing scantily clad clothes again. Her exact words were ghetto booty shorts, which I do love.
So, obviously, the huge kind of conspiracy theory that seems to be going on just now, and it seems to be from mostly people who haven't even been watching WWE. that Vince is likely just still puppeteering from the sidelines. But you wouldn't have seen the returns that we've had. SummerSlam would not have resembled it. Previous two Raws we've had would have been just rematches of what took place at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Right. It's very clear that even just as far as creative goes, Vince has no input.
No.
And it's all the better for it.
Yeah. Vince is gone, and the quicker people realise he's actually gone, the better the world will be.
And just because he's a shareholder doesn't mean he actually has any power in the company. He can be a non-executive board member.
I'm also a shareholder of WWE, if that helps, and that's not even a joke. I've got like a 0.0001%, yeah. So,
yeah, I've got a share in him.
Yeah, Omos was my idea.
Got a lot to answer for.
Did well.
So, yeah. So anyone that's still kind of believing that is basically just not been watching the product.
No.
You can see with what happened at Raw quickly, like I won't go follow with KO and Ezekiel this week as well.
It basically, without saying it, Triple H has said, Vince's ideas were dumb, I'm fixing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll expand more on that in the Raw review anyway on Thursday. But moving on from WWE, we'll discuss more AEW matters. So MJF, ever since his Pipe Bomb Jr. promo a few months ago on Dynamite, has completely vanished from public view. Even to the point these fellow wrestlers backstage have either really good at keeping kayfabe and keeping secret, but won't even admit to having heard from him as to how he's doing personally. He has completely dropped off the grid. He did go to LA to film some stuff for Time Warner just before that promo, and it continued on for a couple of days after. But once his obligations to that were done, he's effectively just disappeared. Whether that's a work or a shoot, who knows? But anyone that is speculating that it's because he's going to WWE, if Tony Khan's contracts are as ironclad as he says they are, then he just can't until 2024. And MJF isn't going to sit in his backside for 2 years when WWE could very well forget about him.
Yeah. He's got to stay relevant.
So he should be back on TV at some point. Otherwise, you're literally just throwing away good money. All parties.
Yeah. Like I can see him turning up when Punk turns up again around about that point. I think that's where they'll lead it to.
Or he'll crash Omega's return. Let's just see if Twitter's back up yet. See if that is.
He's not reported anything yet, though.
Yeah, he's not. But speculating, everyone in the comments is all saying either Bray Wyatt or Kenny Omega. Which, if that's the case, I wouldn't report on that here anyway, because that'd be spoilers.
Yeah. I'm thinking Kenny Dykstra.
So, in other AEW news, there was an injury sustained at the Battle of the Belts live special on Saturday night. I won't class it as a pay-per-view. It was a 1 hour show with a couple matches on it. And we won't be covering it on the show this week. But during the women's title match, Jamie Hayter suffered from a broken nose pretty much halfway through after a bad-looking knee drop. She wrestled the rest of the match, but no word yet on if she's going to miss any time from it. I have heard it's a good match, and I will probably watch the show anyway. I just won't be going detailed on notes for on here because it is just essentially a special. No titles changed hands, spoilers. So
that's ruined everything for me. I haven't seen it yet.
you not think that Tony Khan would have tweeted relentlessly for the next 24 hours about
I
how
completely forgot it had even happened until someone said it in the chat earlier on. I was like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, it was when
That'd be a fantastic match though.
It was when I was looking for news for this. I saw about Jamie Hayter's nose. I was
Yes,
like, oh,
that was it.
that was a thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah.
And I know I can't cheat for why would I not be interested in seeing Claudio's ROH title match. It's because it was like just a throwaway booked at the last minute.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
But it was great wrestling. The world is exploded because of this match, and now WWE want Takeshita. That's the rumour I've heard.
Takeshita hasn't won a match yet.
He doesn't need to. Neither has The Miz.
I'm sorry, but he does. At some point he does. He can't just be constantly putting against champions and losing. He needs to at least get one win against someone. Otherwise he's a Japanese Dolph Ziggler.
He beat Ryan Nemeth on Rampage. I think that's supposed to be Rampage. I know it would have already happened. Yeah, he beat Ryan Nemeth on Rampage.
Okay.
Big win.
He beat JD Drake on Elevation. He beat Anthony Henry on Dark. He beat Ryan Nemeth again on Dark.
YouTube.
Yeah.
If it happens on
YouTube, it doesn't happen.
To me, if it's not on Dynamite or Rampage, it's not canon.
Yeah.
The Cornet Network coming alive.
That is pretty much all the news this week. Obviously, most of it is TV related, so we'll be covering the returns, etc., in more detail on our reviews on Thursday. But in the meantime, please remember all our socials are in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the usual business. Please check out our interview with George Lydon, the Kamikaze Pro Live Champion. Really proud of how that turned out. And he's getting a lot of traction already, which is brilliant. But just keep pushing that out there.
It was a great interview. Like, you asked good questions, right? And he came across really, really well.
Is it the first job? Is it the first in a series? Who knows? Time will tell. Things are looking positive that way.
Yeah. So
keep an eye out. You never know what will be coming around the corner. The best place to do that will be on our Twitter, which is at @honor_club. That is honour with a U, because we are British. And of course, all the relevant social channels, including our Discord, which is in the description, where you can join and chat about wrestling, football, Pokemon, gaming in general. We've got a channel for it. So come hang out, chat away with us, let us know your thoughts. But in the meantime, thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Adios.
Bonjour.